The difficult connections that Kody Brown has with his elder children are widely known to Sister Wives viewers. He stated a few days ago that he wants to mend these connections and reunite with all of his children. Additionally, Brown mentioned that relocating can be a step in that direction. But Mykelti, his daughter, feels differently. She previously stated that she would have taken steps to mend the relationship between herself and her children in such a situation. Padron added that she would never have pleaded with her kids to talk to her. The three-time mother has now disclosed how her father's affection for his children evolved as they grew older. She'd also revealed that Kody had conditions attached to his affection for them. What more had she disclosed? To find out, continue reading. Mykelti, star of Sister Wives, has occasionally talked candidly about her tumultuous connection with her father. She revealed last year that she believes her father's demeanor changed significantly as a result of the show's prominence. She stated that she thinks the show significantly altered him. "I understand, I did wrong," he used to say. "I want to perform better," she clarified. Services for viewing TV online. Kody was morphed by the show, Padron continued. She claimed that because her father is not the Kody Brown she grew up with, she no longer recognizes him. That Kody Brown is Sister Wives' Kody Brown. "That's not my dad, Kody Brown," she continued. The mother of three added that she doesn't understand his arguments and conflicts, therefore it's difficult to watch them. During a recent Patreon Q and a session with her stepfather David and mother Christine, star of Sister Wives Mykelti talked on the changes that have occurred in her siblings' lives in recent years. Kody's estrangement from the majority of his adult children is well known to his fans. Mykelti went on to say that her father demanded love from all of his grown children. "I think it was just like, he just loved us as kids," she added. Mykelti acknowledged that they all understood his love for his children had become more conditional as they grew older. "As we grew older, it depended on how much we respected him, and were prepared to sacrifice what we wanted for him," she continued. According to the mother of three, Kody wanted his children to perform for him. She clarified that Brown hoped all of his children would follow his instructions and do things his way. Sister Wives Goods David was also astounded that all of the Brown children had to truly earn Kody's affection. "Oh," she said, "right? Interesting, isn't it?" David went on to say that he loves his children and that they don't need to prove it. Additionally, he advised Kody to be grateful for having children rather than forcing them to earn his affection. Mykelti also revealed that Kody had to earn his permission to receive a clad-eye ring. When his daughters reached adolescence, Kody would present them with a clad-eye ring. To the surprise of Christine, Kody never purchased a clad-eye ring for her daughter. Mykelti claimed that after buying one for herself, she eventually acquired one. "I heard you received yours," Christine continued. Additionally, she mentioned that Robyn informed her that Kody had purchased a ring for Mykelti. Padron, though, denied it. Kody told her that in order to get the ring, she needed to wait and behave. Drama, emotions, and startling revelations have always been abundant in the Brown family. But this time, one of the women isn't the source of the tea. It comes instead from Mykelti Padron, the vocal daughter of Christine and Kody Brown, who has once again revealed the complex history of her family. Mykelti disclosed that her father, Kody Brown, wasn't always the father that Sister Wives viewers saw him as during a recent live stream with her husband Tony Padron. His affection and the way he expressed it changed as his children grew older, leaving many of them perplexed, offended, and estranged. Her unvarnished candor has rekindled long-standing discussions about what went wrong in the Brown home, and if Kody's definition of love was ever genuinely unconditional. He used to be so present. The Daddy's Girl days longtime fans are aware that Mykelti and her father were previously quite close. She frequently referred to herself as a Daddy's Girl when growing up in the early seasons of Sister Wives, enjoying going on family outings, jokes, and errands with Kody. During her live session, Mykelti stated, "My dad was really involved when I was younger. He would engage in conversation with us about life, assist with homework, and play games. He always seemed to genuinely care about me. But as we grew older, something shifted." According to her, that change was gradual and initially nearly imperceptible. She remembered he started getting busier. More wives, more children, and more issues. "The man who would take me out for ice cream after church suddenly had no time to check in." She spoke in a gentle, even wistful tone that was thoughtful but not resentful. She went on, "I don't think he meant to pull away. However, he did." The pivotal moment, when the older children became self-reliant, Mykelti identified the beginning of Kody's emotional distancing as the moment the Brown children started to enter adolescence. I believe he lost the ability to connect as we grew older and began to think independently, she said. Love is easy when you're young. You simply love your parents so much. However, as you mature, you begin to have your own thoughts and opinions. I believe that's when he started to struggle. According to her, Kody appeared to find it difficult to adjust from being the fun, adored dad to being the parent of young people who had questions for him. We want independence, and he desired control. The combination of the two items wasn't good. I think he loved being our hero, the dad who could fix everything, Mykelti said in a moving moment. However, he was unsure of how to love us in a different way after we were no longer in need of repair. The silent heartbreak of Christine, Mykelti's mother, has already discussed how Kody's priorities changed over time. She frequently thought that although some of his relationships were left in emotional limbo, he was more involved in others, both with his wife and with specific children. According to Mykelti, her mother also observed the same thing. He's pulling away, but I don't think he realizes it yet. My mother used to say it, I recall. Although it pained her to see us losing that connection, she always made an effort to show him grace. Since being married again and starting a happy new life with husband David Woolley, Christine has maintained her composure when discussing Kody's parenting in public. Nevertheless, it's evident from her earlier comments that she saw a pattern that made some of her children feel unappreciated. She served as the glue, according to Mykelti. Mom made sure we weren't overly affected when Dad wasn't there. However, in retrospect, I believe she bore a great deal of that suffering for us. Dad's affection became conditional. Mykelti's discussion of how her father's affection shifted in tone was arguably the most impactful and contentious part of her speech. She remarked, "When we were younger, it felt like his love was just there. We didn't need to prove ourselves. However, as we grew older, it began to seem like our level of agreement with him determined how much we loved him." That sentiment was instantly recognizable to Sister Wives fans. The main plot points of the last few seasons have been Kody's tense relationships with his adult children, particularly with Janelle's kids, Gabe and Garrison. His criticism of his actions and his annoyance with their independence caused hurtful rifts that haven't completely mended. Mykelti's remarks provided a fresh perspective on that relationship. He desired loyalty, she clarified. He wished for his children to adopt his perspective. However, it seemed as though our link simply diminished when we disagreed. He probably didn't understand that we could love him and still be challenging to him. Because Kody frequently equated disagreement with treachery on the program, his line resonated with viewers. Chimes Tony, he lost touch with reality. During the live stream, Tony Padron, who never holds back, shared his own thoughts. He said cautiously, "I think your dad just lost touch with reality a little bit. He became preoccupied with leading this enormous family, as if he were managing an organization rather than raising children." Mykelti gave a nod. "Yes, that is how it began to feel. As if we were a family business rather than merely a family." Tony went on, "Additionally, you lose connection when you begin to manage people rather than love them." I believe that's what took place. They had an honest, frank, and surprisingly caring chat. Their voices were one of empathy and disappointment rather than rage. The Brown family's emotional disparity. The Brown family is broken today, as fans are aware. Only Robyn Brown is still with Kody. Christine, Janelle, and Meri have all left. The majority of Kody's adult children are now self-sufficient. Some have little to no contact with their father, while others are totally cut off from him. Interestingly, Mykelti has consistently taken a more impartial stand. She is devoted to her mother, but she has also shown empathy for Robyn and her father. However, she seems to agree that there is a greater emotional gap than before. In her live stream, she stated, "I don't think it's about choosing sides anymore. It's about understanding that partnerships require work on both sides, and I believe that some of us gave up because the pain was too great." The complicated love story. The problem, in Mykelti's opinion, is not that her father no longer loved his kids, but rather that he failed to adjust to their changing personalities. She asserted, "I know he still loves us." However, his understanding of love is nuanced. It is enmeshed in notions, norms, and expectations that no longer reflect who we are. It's probably the reason why so many of us feel so disconnected. His love remained frozen in a different era as we developed. Her remarks gave the impression of a man who might not even be aware of how much emotional distance he has caused. Formerly the gregarious father who took great satisfaction in his family's harmony and communication, Kody now appears to be emotionally and physically distant from most of his relatives. This explains everything. Fans flocked to social media with sympathy and analysis after Mykelti's remarks went viral. One Reddit member commented, "This explains everything we've seen on the show. Kody needs control to feel loved back, so he doesn't know how to love his kids as adults." Mykelti just said what all of us have been thinking for years. Kody's love is conditional, and that's why his family fell apart, wrote another admirer in a remark on X, previously Twitter. Some even commended her courage. One fan said, "It takes guts to speak honestly about your dad on a public platform. She is speaking the truth with compassion. She is not dragging him." Christine's quiet reaction fans quickly noticed that Christine appeared to take note of her daughter's remarks. Christine shared a calm picture of herself and David hiking shortly after the live feed went live, writing, "Growth means loving without control." Fans made the connection right away. One reviewer stated, "That's a direct response to Mykelti's live. Christine understands. What she's discovered now is love without boundaries." Christine has frequently stated that her decision to leave Kody was motivated by more than just romance. It was also about finding her serenity and redefinition of love for herself and her kids. Mykelti's realization demonstrates how well her mother's lesson has stuck with her. "I still want connection" is a glimmer of optimism. Mykelti made it apparent that she still has hope for her father in spite of the heartbreaking disclosures. She declared, "I still want a relationship with him. I want my children to know who their grandfather it is. All I need is for it to be genuine, regardless of my online persona or the people I support. Just love, nothing more." Fans were greatly moved by that vulnerability. After years of scandal, it's simple to condemn Kody, but Mykelti's tone served as a reminder to viewers that actual people, fathers, children, and families, are at the center of it all and are still attempting to make sense of their broken relationships. "I believe that everyone deserves the opportunity to develop," she continued. "I'm here if he ever wants to rebuild. However, this time, it must come from both of us." The pain's hidden teaching in many respects, the entire Sister Wives narrative, a tale of love, faith, ego, and evolution, is reflected in Mykelti's perspective. What started out as an optimistic vision of polyharmony evolved into a study of how love can shift and even wane when it is based on structure rather than empathy. Her remarks serve as a reminder to her fans that, when given the opportunity to grow, even the most well-intentioned love may turn into a domineering force. She asserted that love must develop alongside individuals. A mature child cannot be loved in the same manner as a toddler. Meeting people where they are is essential. Kody Brown might still be coming to terms with this fact. Conclusion: a father's legacy, a daughter's truth, perhaps one of the most genuine disclosures from the Brown family to date. Mykelti Padron's candor gave fans a unique and poignant look into life as one of Kody's several offspring. Her thoughts were not bitter but wise, the type that comes from being raised in a home where religion, duty, and reputation were frequently intertwined with love. Her remarks may ultimately act as a mirror and a message for Kody himself. Love isn't about submission or power. It all comes down to connection, which needs to be fostered rather than forced. "I learned a lot from my dad," Mykelti said quietly. "Part of it was knowing what to do."